Hello and welcome. Today's Know Your Rights segment is entitled Protecting Educators, Strategies and Tools for Responding to Online and Offline Harassment. We are going to discuss how we can protect against and respond to harassment and attacks, especially issues that may arise when our educator members are teaching historically accurate or inclusive curricula, for example. My name is Lena Ackerman. I'm an attorney with NYSET's Office of General Counsel, and I'm here to walk you through the New York State laws that discuss anti-discrimination and school safety. In addition, I will outline the legal protections and options available to educators who have been harassed. Throughout the country, it seems that campaigns against inclusive education are introduced daily. From banning books that discuss LGBTQ+ identities, to laws prohibiting teachers from discussing the racial history of America, to the threat of funding cuts if school curricula aren't sanitized of all of these challenging concepts, these efforts are deeply concerning. We've recently seen this at the federal level through the use of executive orders and presidential power. As we're recording this video, this is a rapidly changing situation, so please be aware that there's potential for changes to this area of the law. We will keep you updated on the potential impact of those orders, so please check back here for updates to our Know Your Rights materials. But for now, let's start by discussing student protections. Student protections. While some school districts may try to restrict both students' and educators' rights to inclusive curricula, here in New York, the Commissioner of Education, Board of Regents, and the Attorney General have been clear about our state's dedication to ensure a wide-ranging and inclusive curriculum. The State Education Department has also issued guidance directing districts to create a culture in which transgender, gender-expansive, non-binary, and intersex students feel safe, supported, and included. Beyond policy, New York State education law has specific curriculum requirements. For example, Education Law Section 801 requires that K-12 students receive instruction on tolerance, respect, sensitivity, and civility in relation to people of different races, national origins, ethnic groups, religions, abilities, sexual orientations, and gender identities. This law requires discussion of shared history, human rights issues, harassment, and discrimination. Along those same lines, New York's Dignity for All Students Act, or DASA, requires school districts to work to reduce discrimination, harassment, and bullying on actual or perceived characteristics, such as race, sex, gender, sexual orientation, religion, and disability in public schools. And Education Law Sections 3201 and 3201A prohibit discrimination in joining certain classes and teams in public schools if those decisions are based on race, creed, color, national origin, and sex. Of course, there are also federal protections to consider, as students have constitutional rights to free speech and equal protection. So what about protections for our educators teaching these topics? Educator protections. Though the previous laws focus on students, there are statutes dedicated to protecting educators. Educators have a right, and districts have a duty, to provide a safe workplace. Education Law Section 2801-A and Labor Law Section 27-A work in tandem to require that employees are given adequate protection from hazards, and districts are required to have a comprehensive safety plan in place. The Taylor Law further requires districts to bargain with public employee unions over safety matters. These safety matters can include harassment and discrimination issues in line with state and federal anti-discrimination laws, which require employers to investigate harassment claims. Under State Labor Law 27-B, employers, including school districts, are further required to develop a workplace violence prevention program. So what if you or your colleagues become a victim of harassment? Responding to harassment. While these protections are in place to ensure an inclusive and safe school environment, the fact is that harassment can still occur, especially outside of the school. Sadly, this has become common online and on social media. Unfortunately, there are members of the public who don't agree that our students and teachers deserve a supportive school experience. That is no reason not to keep striving to create a healthy and inclusive environment, but it does add some complexities. If you are a victim of online harassment, there are multiple actions you can take. The first step is to gather evidence by documenting the harassment. Take screenshots with timestamps. Save the URL of the post and make sure to take detailed notes. Do whatever you can to document the harassment, and of course be careful to do so without violating any laws or social media policies or employer rules yourself. Once you have the evidence, one option is to report the harassment to the relevant social media platform. This is typically the most effective way to get harmful content taken down quickly after you've documented it. While on the topic of social media, it's also a good idea to take steps to create secure passwords and use multi-factor authentication to prevent online accounts from being hacked. If harassment continues or begins to spread, you may consider making your social media profiles private and taking other actions to minimize your online profile, even if it's just temporary. Another option, if you've been harassed, is to contact your union, especially if you were unsuccessful in getting the content removed by contacting social media platforms. You also have legal options. First is a defamation lawsuit. You can bring a defamation lawsuit where someone publishes a false statement about you without your consent, it's read by a third party, and the statement caused harm to your reputation. This must be an actual statement, not just an opinion, and the person or entity posting has to know or should have known that the statement was false. Because we have the First Amendment, free speech has broad protections, so this is a high standard and a complicated area of the law. Before you decide to file a defamation suit, it is important to be aware of First Amendment protections for the publisher, the person posting the harassing content. First, it can be difficult to prove the harmful content is actually a false statement and not just an opinion. Second, teachers are semi-public figures, which heightens the burden of proof. Even if a defamation suit is not the right choice, there may be other criminal and civil law protections available to you. For example, one civil option is a civil tort action based on defamation, infliction of emotional distress, invasion of privacy, or other violation of law. Under New York's criminal statutes, you can bring charges under 3 key sections. First is criminal harassment, Penal Law Section 240.30, which prohibits electronic communications or threatening phone calls with the intent to harass. Second are hate crimes, Penal Law Section 485.05, where the harassment may qualify as a hate crime if it's motivated by a person's membership in a protected class. And third is criminal interference with public employees, Penal Law Section 195.05, where it is unlawful to prevent a public employee, including a teacher, from doing their job by means of intimidation. In conclusion, whatever route you decide to take, just know that your local union, NYSET, and the Office of General Counsel are here to educate you and protect your rights. Please download and review the Responding to Online and Offline Harassment document on our Know Your Rights website. Thank you for watching, and take care.